So very good afternoon to our viewers and welcome to Channel 2's English News Bulletin. I'm Angie Meher joining you with a look at our news, beginning with the latest from home. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi heads the extraordinary Arab summit that kicks off in Cairo on Tuesday, with leaders from across the region convening to unite against U.S. President Donald Trump's proposal to acquire Gaza and displace its Palestinian inhabitants. The summit is held at the request of the Palestinian state at the new administrative capital and will focus on development in the Palestinian cause and ways to support the brotherly Palestinian people. The summit will also center on adopting an Egyptian 5-year comprehensive reconstruction plan for Gaza that aims to rebuild the Strip without uprooting its people and firmly rejecting any notion of transfer or displacement. UN estimates have put the cost of Gaza's reconstruction at more than $53 billion after a devastating Israeli genocide war. The Arab Summit on the territory's reconstruction comes a day after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu again gave his backing to Trump's plan. Arab leaders have always urged to achieve a fair and comprehensive peaceful solution to the Middle East conflict. Moving to the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, who said he will join the emergency meeting of the Arab League in Cairo to discuss the reconstruction of Gaza. Guterres made a fresh appeal for the Gaza ceasefire to be extended, warning against a catastrophic return to war as the first phase of the Israel-Hamas truce was set to expire Saturday. Antonio Guterres also said a permanent ceasefire and the release of all hostages are essential at preventing escalation and averting more devastating consequences for civilians. Guterres also called on Israel to end its suspension of humanitarian aid to Gaza immediately. U.S. State Department spokesperson said U.S. President Donald Trump's Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff plans to return to the region in the coming days to work out a way to either extend the first phase of the Gaza ceasefire deal or advance to the second. Spokesperson added that U.S. President made clear, and Secretary Rubio has repeatedly said all hostages must be released immediately, which includes American hostages. The Israeli far-right finance minister Smotrich said Tuesday that he was traveling to the U.S. for a brief visit. He said the goal of the visit was to strengthen economic cooperation between the U.S. and deepen the strategic alliance between the two sides. His trip comes with U.S. President Donald Trump, who's expected to announce whether to back the occupation of all or part of the West Bank, Palestinian territory further occupied by the Israelis in 1967. Israeli occupation forces demolished houses and cleared a wide roadway through the Nur Shams refugee camp in the occupied West Bank in a weeks-long operation against fighters that has forced tens of thousands of Palestinians from their homes. Nur Shams outside the city of Tulkarm is the latest camp to be virtually emptied of its inhabitants, following a camp in the volatile city of Jenin to the east and a separate camp within the city itself. Residents say bulldozers have been clearing a broad roadway through the area where houses once stood to create easy access for military vehicles, continuing one of the Israeli military's biggest violations in the occupied West Bank for years. The European Commission chief Ursula von der Leyen Tuesday presented a 5-part plan to mobilize about 800 billion euros for Europe's defense and help provide immediate military support for Ukraine after Washington suspended aid. Von der Leyen said in a letter presenting the plan to the EU leaders that a new era is upon Europe. She was speaking 2 days before a summit aimed at cementing joint action on support for Ukraine and European security longer term. In the letter, she outlined options for funding a European defense surge. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian Air Force said on Tuesday that shot down 65 out of 99 drones launched by Russia overnight. The military added another 32 drones were lost and did not reach their targets, likely due to electronic warfare. Earlier, the Ukrainian drone attack targeted an industrial enterprise in Russia's southern city of Syzran. Russian news channel said the attack was close to Russia's security services, adding that the Syzran oil refinery was also targeted in the attack. And the Egyptian Navy participated in rescuing an illegal migration boat with 42 migrants with various nationalities on board after being drawn 160 miles off Marsa Matruh coast. Research and Rescue Center of the Ministry of Defense received information about a drone boat in the Mediterranean Sea. The naval forces at once conducted research operations through research and rescue units as they succeeded in capturing those on board. And finally, crude oil extended declines from Monday when both Brent and WTI fell about 2% each to settle at their lowest level since early December, amid reports OPEC Plus will proceed with the planned oil output increase in April. Brent futures fell 0.9% to $70.97 a barrel, whilst U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures fell 0.7% to $67.87 a barrel. U.S. Treasury yields extended also declines in Asian hours on Tuesday, with 10-year yields dropping to the lowest since October at 4.115%. With that, we wrap up our English News Bulletin here on Channel 2. You're in the company of myself, Angie Meher. Thank you for watching.